September the 19th. We're so delighted and excited anytime the citizens show up, as well as we want to thank our staff for being present. Here in the city of Fayetteville, we open up our meetings with a prayer invocation. Then we ask you to stand and cite our Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, Councilman Darrell Langford has agreed to give us our prayer, and then please stand and we cite our Pledge of Allegiance together. Councilman Langford.
Okay, if you would, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, Lord, thanking you for allowing us to assemble as a city in the spirit of unity to properly handle the city's business. And in your word, you said that, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Father, please give us the ability to govern with wisdom and make decisions for the city that are pleasing to you and righteous for our citizens. For your word says that where the righteous are in rule, the people rejoice. Bless each and every one on this council and on the city staff of Fayetteville. And Lord, please bless this great city and its citizens. These blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Langford. Would you please stand, face our flag, and cite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, we welcome you, especially the citizens, to our meeting. For those who are here in person, we have an agenda that has been prepared in advance. If you want a copy of the hard copy of the agenda, you can see our city clerk, Ms. Chelsea Seaman, to get one, but we also project it on the screen so you can observe and follow as we go along. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda, or if there are any changes, please note.
Mayor, I'd like to add an item, executive session for personnel and real estate.
Approve the agenda with the additions.
Second.
Properly moved and second that we approve the agenda with the additional items to go into an executive session for real estate. Is there any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. The approval of the minutes of the August 15th, 2024 City Council regular meeting. What is your pleasure, council members?
Move to approve. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. And the approval of the minutes of the August 27th City Council work session.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay.
Abstain.
Noted. Councilman Clark abstained, absent at that meeting. Recognitions and presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure whenever we want to recognize our staff or citizens. And tonight, our police chief, Chief Scott Gray, is going to come forward and recognize a citizen for commendation. I'm going to ask the city council members, if you don't mind, come on down so we can congratulate our citizen together.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we would like to recognize Mr. John Lynch, who's a business owner in the city of Fayetteville, for his act of heroism. In 2022, Mr. Lynch was a great witness for us after an armed robbery in a business next to his business, as he was instrumental in gaining the tag number and description of the individual who committed the offense. And within one business day, we were able to take the subject into custody. In August of this year, he heard screams coming from the convenience store next door where a under 21 person was trying to purchase tobacco products, and they refused. Upon refusal, the person displayed a knife. Other patrons ran out of the store and screamed that he had a knife. Mr. Lynch, in the business next door, went into the store and was able to hold the suspect at gunpoint until officers arrived, putting himself in danger. He has an extensive background in the military as well as a business owner in the city. Now we asked citizens to be great witnesses, but when, potential great bodily injury or death could occur with somebody holding an offensive weapon, he took the steps allowed under Georgia law to protect those citizens from being injured and/or death. So tonight, we would like to present Mr. Lynch with a heroism accommodation from the City of Fayetteville Police Department.
Mr. Lynch, would you please come forward? Let's give him a round of applause.
We got something for you.
Mr. Lynch, thank you so much for being a committed citizen to recognize that public life, but not many citizens who show up and put their life at risk and to make sure that the rest of our citizens are protected. Thank you. Thank you very much. On behalf of the city council members, we'd like to give you a coin and send you to the city. Just to show our appreciation and hopefully you'll remember that what you've achieved and what you've accomplished is something that we respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I say it often, and I know that City Council feel the same way that I do. I believe we have the best, finest police department in the United States of America, but it also takes citizens who are very conscientious about making sure that crime is at a minimum in our city, and in fact, try to eliminate it as much as possible. That means being involved. We don't want you to put your life at risk, but at the same time, if you can help our police officers, capture criminals, especially those who have already perpetrated crimes, it is something that we would definitely appreciate and commend. So thank you again, Mr. Lynch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on to public hearings. Consider step one of the annexation request from Fun Spot America, located at 1675 Highway 85 North, presented by our planner, Ms. Catherine Prickett.
Hi, good evening, Mayor
Hello,
and Council.
Catherine. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good.
Fun Spot America submitted a one-step annexation application. The amusement park is planning to expand their property not the property, they're going to expand with the intent to add new amenities and new attractions. The reason for their annexation request is to connect to sewer to make that expansion possible. The current county zoning is CH, Commercial Highway. Should the annexation move forward, a required zoning would be, the city required zoning would be light industrial in order to operate a commercial recreation facility, along with a land use designation of industrial on the city's future land use map. So, Fun Spot America of Atlanta wants to be Fun Spot America of City of Fayetteville. And I believe John Ari is here to answer more if you.
Okay, is the applicant here? Please come forward. How are we doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
You want to share an insight or anything about the application and why you want to annex into the city?
Yeah, sure. So Fun Spot America is based in Orlando, but this is our third location. We've been around for 26 years. We bought this park trying to diversify outside of Central Florida, and we just love the community up here. We love how it's a small knit, community, and for multiple reasons, we're looking to get annexed into the city. One of them is, in order for us to build we're looking at a 20-acre water park attraction. It looks like the only way we could do that is to get involved with you guys and get the sewer over to our property. We can't do it with the septic system. And but there's plans for other things that come on down the road and everything else. And we had some, not to down the county at all, but we've had some hard relationships with them in our last project we did, and it took us almost triple the amount of time that we budgeted, and we were over $6 million in our budget. So that was a hard pill to swallow. I'm the owner of the park. This is my wife, Tracy. And it, we're not Disney, Universal, or SeaWorld. We operate it. We try to do everything on a cash flow basis, but sometimes we do have to finance things, and $6 million is a hard one to swallow. So that was a hard one, but and we've talked to the city and many people here, and it just feels like a different atmosphere, and it feels like somebody that would align with us and who we are.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the compliment. At this time, I'm going to open it up for council members to raise any questions or make any comments. None from the council? Okay. Are there any citizens who wish to comment on this application? Keep in mind, this is first step one of the annexation. There are several processes that must be accomplished in order to get the project approved and the annexation approved. But we're delighted. As you know, we've been there to your park several times, and we enjoy the relationship and your intent to make sure that you recognize that it's in the city of Fayetteville. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Since they have no comments from the citizens on this matter, council members, what is your pleasure?
We don't have to vote for that, do we?
Move to approve step one annexation.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we move to approve step one of the annexation request from Fund Spot America. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Okay, thank you, sir. Can move forward with the next process. I'm sure Ms. Prickett will make sure that things go as smooth as it can be. Okay. The next item, item number 5, has been tabled. Item number 6 has been tabled. At this time, item number 7, consider 0-21-24 defined benefits pension plan presented by our city manager, Mr. Ray Gibson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. As you mentioned, this is the hearing for ordinance 0-21-24, a restatement of the city's defined benefits pension plan. By law, through the IRS, regulated by the IRS, we have to restate the defined benefit plan every 6 years. The IRS has issued a favorable opinion letter for the amended and restated Georgia retirement plan, and basically it's just this plan it has typical updates. There's federal law updates that have to be made every 6 years, as well as administrative updates regarding the plan that have been made over the last several years by the board itself that oversees the plan. And we're just recommending that this process move forward for approval.
Okay.
And we've reviewed it, and it meets all the requirements.
Any questions from the council for Mr. Gibson on this matter? Are there any questions from the citizens? Hearing none, council members, what is your pleasure with 0-21-24?
Move to approve ordinance 0-21-24, defined benefits pension plan.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Moving on to new business, consider resolution R-45-24, City of Fayetteville charitable donation policy. Once again, our city manager, Mr. Ray Gibson.
Thank you, Mayor, again. We've been talking about this policy for a little while, over the last little while, and tonight we want to make it sure it's a formally adopted policy. The big thing is we want to make sure that we have a charitable donation policy that is in alignment with the Georgia Constitution. And the policy just states, the city shall not consider requests for charitable or other donations, nor shall it make charitable or other donations that are in conflict with this long-held constitutional prohibition. So we're here tonight just to make sure that we no longer will be doing these charitable donations, because we haven't really had a policy that we've followed over the last, I think, 6 or 7 years. And when these issues come up, because we got a lot of demands to make contributions, we just want to make sure that we have something to back us now.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, just trying to accommodate all these nonprofit organizations, and then, you know, you're able to help some, but you're not able to help all. I think it's just fair that you know, we not help any if we can't help all.
Thank you, Councilman Langford. Anything else from the council? Are there any comments or anything from the citizens? Hearing none. Council members, what is your pleasure with Resolution R-4524?
Move to approve Resolution 45-24 concerning charitable donations.
Do I have a second?
Got it?
Okay. Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay? Item number 9, ladies and gentlemen, consider Resolution R-4824, the approval of sub-grantee agreement from the Atlanta Regional Commission, ARC, regarding the city's 2024 Livable Centers Initiative, or LCI grant, presented by our Community Development Director, Mr. David Rast.
Good evening. This is more of a formality in conjunction with the grant award from ARC. We are required to enter into an agreement with ARC, and then we move forward with the RFP for the study, which we will be publishing in October. But this is just a part of the process associated with this grant program.
Thank you, David. Questions from the council? Any questions from the citizens? Council members, what is your pleasure with Resolution R-48-24?
To approve R.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, when I call for questions, please just speak up, please.
Certainly. Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Kathy Vaught, as all of you know, and I live at 105 Meeting Place Drive here in Fayetteville. And I did have a couple of questions about this. And looking at Attachment A, the scope of work, since one of the goals of the ARC's Living Center initiatives is to increase the use of alternatives to driving alone by developing transportation projects, are plans being made for highways 85 and 54, which now go through the center of town? Are there any plans to have them bypass the downtown area? And then under the same Attachment A, Section 4, Work Task 2, it mentions public involvement, and this task includes developing a planning outreach to all stakeholders with efforts and accommodations made to include low to moderate income, minority, and elderly and/or disabled citizens. What types of accommodation do you envision? Housing, for instance? If so, what types of housing? What types of accommodations for the elderly and handicapped? Does this include accessibility ramps and parking around town? And what else? Are these all conditions demanded by the ARC? And those are my questions. I know it was a mouthful, but there are questions that I had, and I don't know how else to present it.
No problem, Ms. Vaught. David, you want to answer, or you want
to? Regarding the first item, because this is federally funded through federal funds that are given to Georgia DOT, which are then funneled to ARC, one of the components is that we do look at alternate forms of transportation. This particular study is kind of a deep dive into the LCI study we adopted in 2022. And within that study, we looked at the transportation corridors, road network within downtown, and implementation of path projects and things such as that. What we'll be doing as a part of this study is kind of taking that to the next step. We'll continue to look at the transportation network. We'll look at path connections, where those can go, what is most reasonable, so we can get those on the Fayette County Transportation Plan, get those into the Transportation Improvement Program, so that we're then eligible for funding for those. So there's a combination of things that are involved with transportation. This particular grant would not look at a bypass around Fayetteville. That would be, we have the East Fayetteville bypass and Veterans Parkway, and those are included in the county transportation plan. So those are items that are already programmed in different funding mechanisms. Regarding the second question, accommodations was not intended for housing. It was, how do we reach out into the community and solicit input from underserved, underprivileged, elderly, essentially every segment of the community. And that's something we paid careful attention to when we did the initial study. We had meetings at the senior center, we had meetings here, we had meetings on Church Street, we had meetings in Sugar Hill. So we were actually out in the community meeting with these. That is what the accommodations is referring to, is how are we going to solicit input into the community.
This is all the public engagement, correct?
Public engagement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Ms. Vaught, did you get satisfactory? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or any citizens wish to come forth and address this particular item? Hearing none. Council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve Resolution R-48-24, approval of sub-grantee agreement from the Atlanta Regional Commission regarding the city's 2024 Livable Centers Initiative Grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have 3 consent agenda items. Resolution R-4424, Georgia Municipal Association Lease Agreement. R-46-24, the appointment of the Mental Health Advisory Board members. And R-4724, Customer Service Strategy. These being consent agenda items, I only need a motion, to approve the consent agenda items.
So move.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Yes.
I think that we have some board members that might have attended the meeting. If you want to ask them to stand and state their name.
Oh, yes, please. You have the list?
I do.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we just appointed a mental health advisory board. Several citizens of this community volunteered to be on that board. The council members and the leadership of the city met and looked at, reviewed the applications, and have decided these individuals will be appointed to the advisory board. Oh, I'm sorry, couldn't read it. The individuals, if you're here, please stand so we can welcome you and thank you for your willingness to serve. Nikia Green Young, Vanity Hightower, Stacy Mitchell, Jennifer Oliver, and Geneva Weaver. Okay? These individuals will be sitting on our Mental Health Advisory Board, chaired by our Councilwoman, Dr. Nia Glover, and we will be looking at and addressing mental health and awareness in the city of Fayetteville. So thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Sorry you're not going to get paid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to move on to discussion items. Chapter 10 of our alcoholic beverage, section 10-34, application contents and investigations, presented by our planning and zoning manager, Ms. Julie Brown.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So the former Speedy Pig Barbecue property was recently sold. It's located at 715 South Glen Street, and it is going to be converted into a Mexican restaurant. Staff realized that the proximity of the residentially zoned property behind the Speedy Pig would not allow the new restaurant to obtain an alcohol permit because of our distance requirements for between residential and commercial properties serving alcohol. The state only requires an alcohol distance for churches and schools, but a municipality can have a stricter ordinance, and the city does enforce currently a 100-yard distance, which is 300 feet. So although the property that abuts this restaurant is zoned R40 single-family residential, in 1992, the property owner was issued a commercial business license to operate the Turnip Seed Nursery Farm, and that business still operates today. So in order to help the new Mexican restaurant, staff wanted to bring for consideration a possible amendment to the alcohol ordinance which would allow this new business to still obtain an alcohol license. So under the current, sorry, they already went there. So under the current distance requirements, we would measure from the primary entrance of the structure which sells alcohol to, in a straight line, to the nearest edge of the property line, which is right here. And that's a total of 111 feet, so it does not meet the 100-yard, 300 feet requirement. What staff is recommending, the Mexican restaurant is here, and these are all the commercial structures for the Turnip Seed Nursery. The residence is actually right here. And what staff is recommending is measuring from the front door of the restaurant in a straight line to the front door of the residence. And that would be a total of 676 feet, which would meet the requirement for the Mexican restaurant to obtain an alcohol license. So if council is amenable to that, staff can prepare a formal ordinance and bring it back for review and approval.
Can we limit to, once we do this, would there be other structures in the city that could fall in this type of situation? And how do we keep that from not mushrooming?
I did check surrounding properties on the city map. So the difference between this residence getting a commercial business license in 1992 and the way we issue business license now for home occupations is we have a restricted list, and so there isn't a business that would be able to operate a commercial business and sell alcohol that would be located next to a residence.
I know I talked
So
to
this would be-
I know I talked to the owner of the property, and he has no objection to doing this, so.
Correct.
Any other questions from the council for Ms. Julie Brown? Any questions from the citizens? The entertainment district does not extend that far, right?
Correct. This is out. We do not actually have a distance requirement for residential in the downtown mixed-use district. This is outside of the mixed-use district.
So the owner as well as his clients have to follow all the guidelines with regards to alcohol
Correct.
and consumption. Okay. All right. Council members, what is your pleasure?
We have to make a motion to? with
No,
this
I'm just
a
looking
discussion item? Right.
for recommendation if you
Yeah,
want
I
me to move
recommend
forward
that
with an
we,
ordinance.
We move forward, and
Prepare
I'd
an
rather
ordinance.
that, since the landowner has no objection, and there's been a business there for a long period of time, I can't see us tying the hands of somebody. It's not a big area to start with.
Okay. I was just looking for a consensus from the council so that everyone say that, to tell the staff to move forward, so they won't go moving forward and people have objections.
Okay.
So, anyone have any objections? Okay. Julie, I think you've been given some direction from the council.
Thank
to
you.
move forward. Thank you very much. And you will come back with the change to the
Yes,
ordinance.
I'll bring a formal ordinance.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on to reports and comments. City Manager?
I only have a few tonight, Mayor. On Saturday, this Saturday, we're going to have the fire truck pull Saturday morning. I believe the City of Fayetteville Fire Department won it last year, so hopefully they can repeat. And on Tuesday this past week was National Information Technology Day. So just to thank our IT staff for all the great work that they do here for the staff and for the community. Calvin's waving in the back there. And that's it, Mayor. We've got a lot of items up on the board, a lot of upcoming events. It's gonna be a very busy October. That's it.
We'd encourage the citizens to check out our website, to find out all of the activities that we have going on in the city of Fayetteville, and I think you will be impressed with the fact that we're trying to engage activities for the citizens to find outlets and opportunities to come down to City Hall and be a part of all the activities. So, City Council members, is there anything to report?
I just want to say thank you to the members, the board members, for stepping up, answering the call. I look forward to collaborating with each one of them moving forward for the mental health initiative, and also to council and staff for supporting this initiative and seeing and understanding the importance of this. Mental health and well-being of the city of Fayetteville is a passion of mine, and I look forward to working with each one of you. Thank you again.
Mayor's comments, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank the council members, especially our Mayor Pro Tem. Last couple of meetings, I was absent because I was on a trip with the Atlanta Regional Commission to tour some of the other cities in the United States to see some of the best practices that cities are doing with transportation, with trails and all of that. And in my absence, the council continued to press on, which I would expect them to do. And I just want to thank them for their outstanding work of moving forward. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to open it up for citizens or public comments. If you would like to come and address the city council with compliments, complaints, or criticism, you're welcome to do so. We invite you to come up to the podium. Please tell us your name, your address, and then what's on your mind. And you have 3 minutes to express what you have to say.
Good evening. My name is Garrison Brown, live at 120 Briar Lane in Fayetteville. My concerns are we're in a part of the city that seems to be disconnected from the city. It's in Quail Hollow. Being retired, I have an opportunity to walk the neighborhood and see some of the things that need to be addressed. And some of those things that need to be addressed are sewer drains that are broken. The streets are sinking in areas. We have street signs that were faded out due to mold or whatever. That has since been corrected. One of the other things, someone came out today and repaired one of the sewer drains, but seems like it's been neglected, that area on Quail Hollow, on what is it, Hunter's Glen? If you go back in that subdivision and ride around or walk around, you can see what I'm talking about. And that's my concern. And we have a few other people that have called, but seems to go on deaf ears sometimes. You know, you send messages, you call, nobody answers. So that's my complaint is tonight.
Well, I hear you, but you stating that it seems to be going on deaf ear, but yet we have responded to the complaints in making corrections.
Yes, but
So,
my thing is, we called and complained, or we've tried to complain. It shouldn't take that long for things to get to the point where they're in disrepair. Either someone's not doing their job, or, you know, code enforcement comes by, they talk about, you know, people doing things in the yards and whatnot. But the streets, and, you know, it's just, seems like that area's just been neglected, in my opinion.
You know, some of Quail Hollow is in the county, correct?
Right, some of it's in the county.
Right.
They did the street 10 years ago, resurfaced all the way up to where the city starts. And from that point on, it's just been let go. That's my concern.
I'll get with Public Works and we'll do a drive-through out there and check some stuff out. I visited a couple properties a couple weeks ago, and I know there's a couple sinkholes
Oh, quite a few.
on private property. And people got to understand that we can't go on private property to make those repairs.
Yeah, but
I think the question is what's causing those is the bigger issue. So we need to talk about that as a group.
Right, and that's another issue. There's one behind my house that started out maybe from here to where you're sitting, and now it's from there to there. So what does that tell you? Is it something that's underneath? The citizen can't pay for that. So somebody needs to come in and look and see what can be done.
Well, you have to understand there are some rules and guidelines by which we can and cannot, come on private property. I also like to emphasize that the operations and successful operation of the city is a partnership between the citizens and the government. And it's your responsibility equally to call to the city and get some satisfaction after you file the complaint. If you do not get satisfaction after you file a complaint through our complaint department,
Right.
you have a right to contact either our leadership and our city manager or city council members. Have you reached out to any of the city
Yeah,
council
well,
members?
I called 2 years ago about.
You called, who did you speak to on the city council?
I didn't speak to anyone on city council. I spoke to
Okay, well-
code enforcement. Kai came through and I talked to him about it, and he gave me some numbers to call. And yet again, you call, nobody answers. That area is a drain on this side of the street, drain on that side of the street, and it's over 2 years. Nobody's addressed it. They came and painted some lines on the street, and that's as far as it went.
So Mayor, we'll get out there and we'll look at it. and
Thank you,
we'll-
city
Thank
manager.
you. Appreciate it.
Are there any other citizens who wish to come forward? And again, if you're coming forward, and if we ask that, if you're not going to ask you not to repeat what the previous person said, unless it's something specific, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Barbara Edwards, and I live in the same subdivision. I live at 380 Hunters Glen, which is Quail Hollow. My concern is, which I think a lot of our concern, is the deer population. As we know, we live behind the recycle, the landfill, and I think they're driving the deer, we're behind there. But these deer, they populate what they should do naturally every year, but there's no control of deer population. So I don't know if this is the forum to bring this up, but what's the plan to control deer? And we have, if you come there any day, anytime, especially dawn and dusk, you will see probably over 20 deer at one time.
I guess we're going hunting this weekend.
I was going to invite my family up from Alabama on Thanksgiving, but I don't want,
Well, it's something that, we need to discuss with animal control as well as with the county, because especially in Quail Hollow, as we've already stated, it's both city as well as county. And so it's got to be a cooperative plan to establish.
Well, our part is the city, and the deer.
But the deer roams throughout both the county as well.
They eat all my plants, so I live in the city.
I do know that is, falls under the Department of Natural Resources, basically to try to move or relocate or anything of that nature. And I do know that's like talking to the wall.
Who controls natural resources?
We'll reach out to
We
them.
can reach out to them.
We'll get the information to try and help and see what we can do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I feed the deer in my yard. So.
Oh, I feed them too, but with my plants, not.
That's why they keep coming back. No, just kidding.
Okay.
But
One more-
we understand. Our city manager will give you some feedback after he's looked into it.
One more question. Who is in charge of the retention ponds? Is that city?
That's Public Works. Now, it depends if it's If it's could be the HOA. That
We
could
don't
be.
have, we don't have an HOA.
That's probably the city's more than likely would be in charge of that.
Okay. I have one behind my house, and the trees from the hills have fallen on, you have a fence line that separates the retention pond from the private property, and the trees have fallen and knocked some of the fence down, and I'm trying to get it repaired.
I think I'm going to visit that site tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow morning we're going to look at that.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
I heard about it today, yes.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to ask the question again. Have you registered a complaint with the city staff at all?
Yes, they were out the other day, and he's
Cajun
coming
has
out
it.
tomorrow.
Cajun's asked me to go
Yeah.
look at it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I just asked the question, who was
They're
responsible?
very conscientious and responsible if you register a complaint. Unfortunately, it takes time to solve some of the problems. You know.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
No, I know, I'm
asked
just
the
saying,
question.
I want all the citizens to hear that, we are a government, I'm sure most of you realize government operates slow. Unfortunately,
I am retired
Thanks, Mayor.
military. I know exactly how they operate.
well, I'm talking government throughout the United States, period.
Fayetteville.
Not Fayetteville, but thank you. And again, I want to emphasize to all the citizens here, if you got an issue and you're not sure of how to resolve it, call our city manager or hit the staff, and they'll always, at least give you some reasonable feedback. And it may not be able to be corrected immediately, but believe me, I'm very impressed with the staff and what they're able to do. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Are there any other comments from the citizens? Yes, Ms. Evelyn?
I'm Evelyn Thompson. I am with, at St. Andrew's Place. I just want to ask a question. What are the rules and regulations and all requirements for golf carts in Fayetteville?
I know they have to have a license, correct? Purchased, register it. You mean where they can drive them?
Yes, in Fayetteville. I mean, I don't know if can we have golf carts in Fayetteville?
You can have golf carts, just they can't go on certain roadways though. When we complete our trail plan, then they'll be able to be on the trails, hopefully.
Okay.
But you just gotta be careful. I see people out there, I know a lot of people come into the downtown here on golf carts. They take side roads and different ways of getting here. We just want people to be safe, but they do have to be registered.
Just like a car, like they do in Peachtree City, registered here.
David, where do they have to register their? Is it police department? Okay.
Along with a tag and that type of thing.
Ma'am, if you want to give me your address, I'll be happy to send you the code on the golf cart ordinance.
Okay,
And
Julie,
it
that's
tells
fine.
you, if you write your name and address on there.
Okay, yeah.
Miss Evelyn, I saw your golf cart. I don't know if yours is street ready, okay?
Okay. We can go
Well,
back to my, okay.
Thank you.
Is this all yours?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Again, we are in an open forum, and we are here to hear whatever is on your mind. If it's a complaint, hopefully every now and then we get a compliment.
I'll give you one when you get rid of the deer.
Mayor, we do have to update the residents. Our next council meeting will be October the 10th at 6 p.m. rather than the 17th at 6 p.m. So we've changed that date.
And if you check our website, you'll see when we have to alternate our regular scheduled meetings. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if there's nothing else come before council, as you've heard, we need to go to executive session to discuss real estate. You are welcome to stay. We can't guarantee how long we'll be. We come back out, we will adjourn the meeting afterwards.
Mayor's real estate and personnel.
I'm sorry.
And personnel, yeah.
Real estate and personnel. Council members, do I have a motion that we adjourn to executive session?
Second.
Properly moving, second, that we go to executive session for real estate and personnel matters. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay.